Hey, Metablox neighbors. Today, I want to talk about some updates we have on Metablox and also introduce what we're doing with Miami, which is the second city that's going to be launched. So let me start sharing my screen and jump right to it. So as you know, Metablox is about owning real life NFTs in the real world, and they're powered by memories we have in our real life. So the idea is that we want to empower the real world, not just have an escapes of fantasy world that people just hang out all day long. We want to create a ecosystem where people go around in the real world, create new memories in the real world, bond with people. And I think this is very exciting because most NFT projects is just you own this thing and then it sits in your wallet and maybe you show it off to people here and there. What we want with Metablox is not only you're preserving humanity's most precious memories, but it becomes a lifestyle kind of NFT project where we want to design systems where people can go travel in all the different places and check into these different blocks and then create new memories and help generate more meta rent and level these blocks up. So these things are very, very exciting. And now, as you can see, our team has been working very, very hard. It's important to remind everyone that we conceptualized this concept about September, October last year. We put together a team in November. Now, good thing June and I are already experienced entrepreneurs. We have a decent reputation. June is from Google. I've done a lot of these gamification software projects and whatnot. So we put together a team pretty quickly. In January, we launched our reservation launch, which is this one in San Francisco. And and then the minting will actually start mid-April. So it's actually a month away. It's very, very exciting. And one thing we want to talk about is because I'm speaking at this conference called the Miami NFT Week, and there's other very prestigious speakers like Mark Cuban, pretty well-known billionaire and on Shark Tank. And so I've been invited to speak at this conference. So the whole team or a big part of the Metablox team will actually travel to Miami, and we're going to do a lot of promotional events. We're going to do something where people can pitch me their NFT concepts, and I could give them feedback and guidance. So let's see if we look at speakers. Where am I? Can you imagine life without control find? Life would be like so miserable. Yeah, I'm right here speaking for Octalis and Metablox here. So just pretty exciting. And, we want to provide guidance to the people there who pitch us their NFT projects. And I'll use my Octalis framework to explain. For those who don't know, I am a pioneer in the gamification space. And Raul Pal, who is a legendary investor, he used to head a Goldman in Europe. And he now is a cryptocurrency and NFT legendary pundit. He interviewed me on his podcast, Real Vision, or his company, I guess it says, media company, Real Vision. And he gave me this very generous title, Father of Gamification. So a lot of these game loops, how to create ecosystem tokenomics, that has been something that I'm pretty strong on, at least a lot of background in. So because we're doing this Miami thing, we are actually launching our second city, which is Miami. So we have San Francisco and we have Miami. And there's a few things. For those who already have reservations in San Francisco, as you can see, the tier 5 blocks are all sold out. Tier 4, there's only 15 left. So we'll see when those tier 4 get taken. And then the rest, we'll see how long it takes to get them all reserved. Of course, this is a different NFT project. It's not like, oh, look, we have 5,000. We want to sell all of them in the first day, and we're going to burn the ones we don't sell. This is not about creating artificial scarcity. The scarcity is controlled by literally each location in the real world is non-fungible. They're unique. There are ones that everyone's fighting after, and there's ones that people may not care unless they live there. They have interesting memories there, right? So I'm not worried about having that, but there is a tier 4 component that's getting sold off more. But right now we've added a few features, right? Our team has been really rushing to deliver a lot of value for people. One is that even by just reserving, right? Now you can reserve a Blox right now. And what that means is that when we mint, if you have reserved the Blox for 48 hours, no one can mint this Blox, and only you can. After 48 hours, if you don't mint the Blox, there's another 24 hours where people on the wait list of this Blox can mint it, and that's first come, first serve. Everyone's going to mint it at the phase 1 pricing. Is the cheapest. I made another video to explain that, so I'm not going to explain right now. Just know that it's probably the best thing to mint during that phase, right? But what's relevant here is, one, we're allowing people to collect meta rent now based on your reservation. So if you have already reserved some Blox, but you never come in and collect your meta rent yet, you might want to do that. You do it by first creating an account, and then with your email, and it'll identify you have 3 Blox reserved under your name. And then basically you just collect them all. And then so we have 1,050 meta. This is special because the game rule is supposed to be only when you have minted, you own this NFT, right? Then it starts generating meta rent for you. Now, the feature we created just to get people to be excited about things and start getting an early head start is that even if you just reserve it, you can start collecting meta rent. And assuming you do that, and let's say for some reason you end up not minting the Blox, you still have meta rent. It still stays with your account. So this is pretty much like a free way to get meta rent, and meta rent could be used for other utilities. I'd say, like, if you don't plan to ever have a Metablox NFT, we call it Blox, then having any level of meta rent wouldn't matter as much. But assuming you do plan to be a Metablox neighbor and own some Blox, then meta rent will give you a head start. Of course, we'll allow you to find your Blox too. Some people reserve it and they're not sure where it is anymore. What's important about our Miami launch is that right now we know that your email, you can reserve three properties, right, in San Francisco. Once we launch with Miami, and this will happen in the first week of April, first day of April, most likely, because the event starts April 1st. You can also go to the Miami map and start reserving. And what that allows you to do is allows you to reserve an extra 3 Blox. So if you're diligent about it, and you have 3 in San Francisco, you have 3 in Miami, now you have 6 Blox that can start generating meta rent for you. So we highly recommend you checking out right now places you want to reserve in Miami. And also, if you have friends, if you know people who are in Miami, now it's a good time to tell them, hey, we're open in Miami. It's pretty exciting. I know a lot of these type of projects like to start off San Francisco because it is like an innovation hub. I don't think as many projects have their second city be in Miami. And so I think for people who are based in Miami, it's probably something that's pretty exciting and pretty interesting to go and pursue. So that's something that's just good to check out. As you know, our team has been very ambitious. So when we have figured out this roadmap, we really started pushing things quite aggressively. And in fact, the earliest roadmap that we have, and it comes from my game loop, right? It's like the schedule of how things can evolve over time. We're already jumping way ahead of that. And some of my teammates were saying, we were joking around. We were saying that Metablox is probably one of the only NFT projects that not only sticking to our roadmap, but actually being ahead of our roadmap. For instance, the collecting meta rent, we plan to have it a bit later. And the creating the memories, we're also launching that in April, beginning of April too, when we mint. That was supposed to come a bit later too, but we already have that. The Blox naming abilities to spend meta rent to name or rename your Blox, that was planned for a little bit later, and it's here. We didn't plan to launch our second city until a lot of other things were nailed down. And even a bonus, the neighborhood bonus, is something that this was planned much, much later. So if you see in the game loop, it actually was supposed to come, the neighborhood bonus, which is a booster design, it was actually supposed to come in phase 10, right? And so it's like, there's so many things we were going to do. And phase 10, we would launch that. But you can see in phase 1, like phase 0 is the reservation, and phase 1, we already finished building it and we'll be launching that. So yeah, we're way ahead of schedule. I mean, just because we're ahead of schedule in the past doesn't mean we're always going to be ahead of schedule. There might be things that slow us down or harder than we thought. But as you know, or as you can see, our team is working really, really hard, passionately, tirelessly just trying to push things forward and make this an amazing project, really about preserving our most precious memories into the blockchain. So, and we just really appreciate your support here, that you want to be here. We like to say that you finally found your home, and has this double meaning, right, with Metablox. And so, yeah, I think those are some really important things to pay attention to. I think another thing is I'm starting to be more proactive in pursuing opportunities to do more podcast interviews, to speak. I'm already a speaker that gets invited to a lot of conferences. And generally, when I go speak at a conference, I charge $20,000 for my speaker fees. But as you know, when you start a new project, you're desperate. You want everyone to notice you. So for the time being, if there's any podcast or event or conference who wants to speak physically or virtually, I'll most likely do it at no charge. So if you know people who are running podcasts or conferences related to blockchain NFT, do connect them to me, and I'm happy to do this. So literally, like for that organization, they're making $20,000, I guess, because I'm doing it for free. If obviously, if there's travel costs, that's going to be considered inside also. Yeah, so that's something we're going to do more aggressively. One thing that I want to iterate too is that because we launched so quickly, we didn't have time to do any of that, right? Because again, the idea came up in September, October. And so, we didn't have time to do all the stuff of building a community for like 8 months, creating hype and all that stuff. We were really just heads down, building the product, improving the experience, adding things. So I know a lot of other projects out there. The first thing they do is raise like a couple $1 million or $10 million, $20 million. We talk about Metablox. We want to be more of a camel with organic value, organic growth, and lasting value over time, as opposed to a unicorn, which is overinflated growth patterns. And they try to be everywhere before they're ready for people to want to enjoy it everywhere. So we haven't been doing that, and the community's only been around for, I'd say, like three-ish months, and it's already very vibrant. We haven't had the bandwidth to go out and just build hype, right? To do a lot of these publicity events, just because we're trying to make the product as good as possible. The first 4 or 5 months of running this company. So I think we're getting to a place where you have a solid foundation, and I've been invited to do talks again, like my Raul Powell interview, some other podcasts, whatnot. But I'm going to be more proactive on it. I think the product is on a good trajectory, and June is being a great leader and leading a lot of the execution operations. So at this point, I see my biggest value for the Metablox community is to just gain awareness, evangelize, and get more people excited about this project. We saw from our surveys that 55, I think, % of Metablox neighbors came from a referral, because they feel like this project is more meaningful than other NFT projects they've seen. It's not artwork on the wall, which is great for some people, maybe not for others. It's not a game you play. It's actually doing something that makes this world, the real world, more meaningful. And it's something that we do for our families, our children, our grandchildren. And like I said, it can also empower our lifestyles to go and venture more in the real world with people that we enjoy. So anyway, that's a quick update of what's going on with Metablox, the effort we're putting in, whatnot. As you can tell, we're very, very excited about everything. And again, we appreciate you being here, you supporting us. I mentioned in the Twitter space that, whenever you create a new company, it's just like a dream, right? It's a dream, and you don't know if anyone would like it or not. You don't know if people will pursue it or not. And it just, you just have to be grateful that, hey, when we actually push it out, people resonate with it, people are excited about it, and they want to be part of this journey. So I want to really, really thank all of you for being here, being a supporter. You guys are really, really early. I think this is a project that could reach a huge mass in the future. I think it's going to be a very, very important project in human history. And whoever's watching this video and in the Discord community right now is a super, super early pioneer. Right now, we still give you a status of founding member. in the Discord. If you're joining now, I think after we mint, which is around April 14th, that status will go away. So then it's just regular people. So again, tell your friends to come in, join the Metablox Discord, reserve your blocks. There's no real cost to it. It's just, do it, might as well. And yeah, look forward to growing this with everyone. All right, thanks a lot. And I'll see you in the next video, or maybe in Miami. See you there. Bye-bye.